Hi, this video is to provide some recruiting tips on how to engage with students and alumni attending career fairs at UAA, UAF, and UAS. The first thing that we want to remind you of is that the three career centers at the University of Alaska Anchorage, University of Alaska Fairbanks, and the University of Alaska Southeast all work very closely together and share the Handshake platform. So recruitment tips for one of our organizations translate pretty seamlessly to our other institutions as well. Quick little bit about what will be covered in this video is we'll cover career fairs at each of the universities, talk about the different attendees that you can expect to see, talk about the attitudes and expectations of the students, how to engage them, some best practices, as well as how to utilize Handshake before, during, and after the fair. So first things first, each of the universities offer a little bit of different opportunities for career fairs. So the University of Alaska Anchorage and the University of Alaska Fairbanks each offer a general fall career fair that is open to all students and alumni of all majors. This is an opportunity to introduce students to career opportunities with your company. Not all students will actively be looking for positions at this time. We definitely see more students in the spring who are looking to actively apply, whereas more students in the fall are looking to learn more about different career opportunities that are available and start thinking about where they would like to see themselves post-graduation. This means it's a great opportunity for you to fill internships early, as a lot of students are starting to think about the summer and thinking about getting that experiential learning experience. It's an opportunity for you to recruit full and part-time positions that flex to the student schedule. And it's also an opportunity for you to just elevate your brand and showcase the different career pathways that are available with your corporation. All three universities offer a spring career fair of some type, starting with the University of Alaska Anchorage and the University of Alaska Fairbanks. They each offer 2 career fairs in the spring at each institution. Previously, UAF Fairbanks has offered a engineering fair and then a general all other majors career fair. UAA has offered a STEM career fair as well as a business, health, and liberal arts fair. Again, this is an opportunity to introduce students to career pathways. We do invite all students to attend these career fairs in order to learn. So whether they're at the freshman stage or the senior stage, whether they're actively seeking jobs or they're looking to explore, they're all invited. It's also an opportunity for students to secure careers and internship opportunities for the spring and for the summer and beyond. And some students are even seeking seasonal employment. So as you can see, the spring career fairs are really opened more up. A lot of students are actively seeking jobs, internships, and full-time careers. So this is really where you're going to be doing more of your hiring and a little less of the brand awareness, but both are always important. And then, of course, at the University of Alaska Southeast, they call theirs a job fair. And very similar to UAA and UAF, it's an opportunity to create some brand awareness and introduce students to career opportunities. A lot of students in the Southeast area are looking to secure internships and seasonal employment, and then another portion are looking for the part-time and full-time positions that you may offer. Talking a little bit about the career fair attendees, as previously stated, at all three of our institutions, we do welcome all students and alumni to attend our career events. So this includes non-degree seeking students, so students who have not defined a major, who are probably really exploring to see, do they want to come back to school full-time? And if so, what career would they pursue? And then there's also a portion of our non-degree seeking students who are looking for full-time jobs. They've come back, they've taken a class or two at UAA to elevate their education, probably are already working pretty mid-level in the field and are looking to make maybe a lateral change. We also invite our freshmen and sophomores who are often exploring different career pathways and thinking ahead to the future and looking for flexible employment in the interim that can help bolster their resume so that they can be a successful candidate their senior year. Juniors and seniors are really searching for internships. Internships are a wonderful way for them to bolster that resume, gain experience, and sort of shadow some different opportunities before finding a full time career post graduation. And then some of those seniors have already completed that internship, right? And they're looking for that post graduation career opportunity. They're looking for something to start and go with for several years. We do want to be transparent and say that we have very few alumni who attend the career fairs at both UAA, UAF, and UAS. But of course, the alumni who do attend are often looking for post graduation career opportunities, full time positions, and a company to work with for a long period of time. We do have few graduate students who attend. Of course, each of our institutions don't have a big graduate school population, but those that do are often already working full time in a company and are taking grad school classes part time. And so many of those students are not necessarily active job seekers. We have a few who are looking for research positions and other things, but want to be mindful that we do have a very low population of graduate students who do attend these fairs. And of course, we invite all of our faculty and staff to come to the career fair. We encourage them to come and make connections with these wonderful companies that have come out, learn about your open positions so that they can share these with their students, or perhaps even invite you into their spaces so that you have an opportunity to connect with students further. So, what can you expect from the students who are attending this fair? Well, students will definitely vary in their level of preparedness and dress. I think that is something that you can expect now, knowing that we are inviting students at all level, from non-degree seeking freshmen all the way to senior. So this is going to include students who are just looking, they're not ready to apply, they're not coming with a resume in hand. They just want to kind of come around, see what's available, understand what a career fair is, and they're not quite ready to engage in those higher level conversations. And so we want to just provide those students with a positive experience so that they feel welcome to come back to career fairs in the future and can be a little bit more polished and prepared the next time around. We also do send out plenty of materials to the students in order to help them prepare. So those students who are ready to engage in career conversations and who are ready to connect with companies to learn more about their positions and company culture and such, they do receive materials both at the fair and prior to the fair that can help them navigate those conversations. So we do our best to help students develop those career skills, but understand that, especially post-COVID, sometimes conversations are a little awkward. Sometimes for students, this is their first time, and so we want to be a little forgiving. Additionally, our institutions are fairly casual, and students are encouraged to come as they are rather than to not come at all. So we ask that you please keep an open mind about student dress code during the event. A large percentage of our students, particularly at the Anchorage campus, experience a high rate of homelessness. And so they might not financially be able to afford super nice clothes. We do have clothing closets, professional clothing closets at both the Anchorage campus and the Fairbanks campus. So we try our best to support students in that way and provide them with guidance about, dressing for the experience that you want and the job that you want. But we want to be open-minded, that some students might be wearing sweats because they're just coming from a shift working at the school gym. They're coming from, caring for elders or children or other things, and we do want them to come rather than not come at all. Additionally, we want to keep in mind LGBTQ identities and different ways of expressing oneself, tattoos of indigenous and cultural nature, and all of those different things, and make sure that those students feel just as welcome and just as accepted in these spaces. other things to expect. We do spend quite a bit of time doing classroom presentations, email, social media, text messaging, all different things to reach the students and let them know that this event is coming up. We start those marketing campaigns 6 to 8 weeks in advance, and hit all the different routes. But of course, there's always going to be a number of students that say they had no idea this event was happening. Even if their faculty had mentioned it in the class, sometimes we just have students that aren't quite thinking about career readiness yet, and so they're sort of tuning these things out. And last but not least, I do want to touch on one more time that, especially post-COVID, students really struggle to start these conversations. A number of feedback that we receive from students and employers is that conversations are awkward. So help students out by following the best practices here on the next slide. So some of these best practices for engaging students are, you want to pick your best recruiter. So who do you think is going to be able to connect with the students quickly and in a positive way? You want to make sure to the best of your ability that you're closing all of your devices. Oftentimes I do see employers who are on an iPad, on their phone, or on their laptop, and they understand that a day away from the office leads to a lot of buildup of emails and things. But to the best of your ability, you want to keep those devices closed so that you can be open and engaging. It's also wonderful to be the very first person to engage. As students are walking by, you're saying hi, hello, welcome to the career fair. It's great to see you. Things like that to make students feel that they are welcome and that they're not being judged, right? They look at you and they see, wow, this like competent professional employer, and they feel a little nervous and they're not sure, should I engage that person head on? I don't even know if I want to work there. I don't, want to give them any ideas or sound stupid, right? And so being the first to engage can kind of alleviate a little bit of that initial anxiety, make the student feel accepted, so that they can go ahead and engage in a conversation with you. To the best of your ability, that also means greeting students with a smile and having that open body language to show that you're ready to chat with them. And then you also want to really make sure that you're limiting it to 2 recruiters per booth. That's another common mistake that I see, is that these booths are bringing in 3, 4, 5 employers, which is against our policy. Not that we want it to be, but we have to follow fire safety and things like that. But it can also be really overwhelming to the student to be, they're just one person wanting to come up and have a casual chat. And they feel like they have this whole audience in front of them that's sort of looking at them with expectation. And so keeping it to 2 recruiters per booth really helps those conversations be much more successful. I promise you, I'm being honest, that I do even see this in the student surveys that we receive back, that like, hey, such and such booth had this many employers, and it definitely made me nervous, or what have you. So something to think about if there are many of you who are recruiting for many positions. Maybe think about rotating those staff members out. We do have an employer lounge or rest spaces available, so that you could try that approach as well. So diving a little deeper onto the engaging students. So what does it mean to pick your best recruiter? So you want to pick somebody who can put themselves in the mindset of a student, who can think about what do they want to know, what are their stressors, and what are they hoping to get from the company. So thinking about this priority prior to the fair is going to help you pick that best recruiter. So thinking about what would a student really get out of your position, what are the most important things they're going to gain, what are the top skills that they need to have. Thinking about those things ahead of time can be really helpful. Also, being completely frank, students don't really want to engage with HR reps, top managers, CEOs. They really want to talk to somebody who can relate to them. So maybe somebody who has worked in the position that you're hiring for, or works closely with the positions that you're trying to fill, because that person is probably going to be more likely to speak about the qualities, the traits, and the characteristics of the ideal employee in this role. They're going to be able to talk about a typical day in the role, articulate the company culture. Of course, that can vary throughout the company. And so if they've worked in this position or near this position, they'll be more adequately able to talk about that. And you also, if possible, want somebody who can talk about benefits, opportunities for growth and progression in the company. Students are very interested in learning about possibilities for being mentored, possibilities for staying on after an internship, those types of things. So, anybody who can talk about those specifics is a really great match for a career fair. Again, like I shared the tips about closing the devices and being the first to engage, all of those things. This does not mean that your recruiter has to be an extrovert. We certainly don't want or need somebody who is going to shout or kind of pigeonhole every single student that walks by. But just trying to have some open body language and give a smile really does go a long way with helping the student feel accepted and like they are welcome to come up and have that chat. So I did also put at the bottom of this slide an example, and so I'll just kind of verbally say out, as the recruiter, you might say, hey, how's it going? The student might say, it's going fine. You'll say, what brings you to the fair? They might say, oh, I'm just looking around, nothing really. And, you could keep going from there saying, what's your major? And if that major matches career opportunities in your company, you could talk a little bit about that and just kind of keep it natural and engaging. So a few other best practices are one of my favorite things, and that is doing a little bit of homework. So before you come to the fair, if you can spend a little bit of time preparing for the fair, develop some recruitment and hiring goals. So what do you really want to get out of this fair? Who are you hoping to hire? How many people for what positions? And what type of majors or personalities are really going to be a culture add to your company? Perhaps you prepare a couple talking points. What do you want to know from these students, and what opportunities are you going to share with them? That's again where I'm telling you what are those hooks that get students interested and engaged in your positions. So some of those common hooks are, do you offer tuition benefits? Do you offer hybrid or remote work schedules? Are students going to be exposed to a variety of projects and opportunities that are going to really help elevate them in the field? And then do they have opportunities for mentorship, for growth within the company? Do you have a strong commitment to diversity and inclusion? Are there affinity groups or other folks that they can learn from? Those are all some wonderful talking points. So even just sitting down with your team and having a 30-minute meeting and saying, what do we really want to get out of this fair? We spent X dollars on this fair. What do we want to make sure we get from it and that we're sharing with students? Part of this little homework means that you're remaining up to date on benefits. If you know that you offer tuition benefits, but you don't really know how they work, that's not super helpful for the conversations with students. So do a little brush up or print yourself a little cheat sheet. Do you understand what the training and development opportunities are and what that onboarding process looks like? Our students want to know, is this somewhere where I'm going to be thrown to the wolves, or do they have a really comprehensive onboarding process that's going to make me a really competent and confident employee at their organization? And then market your attendance at the fair on our social media. Go ahead and tag us. So we've got each of our career fairs. So UAA, we're at uaa.careers. UAF, they're at UAF Career Services. And the University of Alaska Southeast is at UA Southeast. So let students know that you're coming, put some things on social media, talk about how excited you are to see them, tag us, and so that they can see those posts. And you can do, a feed post, a story, a reel, all of those different things. You can tag us and we can get exposure to our students. Finally, we'll kind of conclude with talking about Handshake. So there is a little homework that you can do with Handshake before the event. So you can update your Handshake profile, and we do have a separate video about how to do that and how to elevate your presence on Handshake. You want to make sure that you post your jobs on Handshake so that students can review them before the fair. Students may know you're coming, but they're not looking at 100 different company websites. They want to see all the jobs in one place. So please, please do post those jobs on Handshake so students can quickly toggle through those before the fair. And definitely go ahead and message students directly. If you're not sure how to do that, we have a tutorial on that as well in a separate video. And Handshake little stats say that 77% of students would prefer to join a company that proactively reached out to them, but only 20% of students have received a message from an employer. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that feature in Handshake. You can also set up virtual chats in Handshake. You can do this by attaching it to your job posting, saying that you're open to having 15-minute one-on-one chats about the position. Those chats are going to be very similar to the type of chats that you would have at a career fair. They're a nice to have, not a need to have. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and do that. We do not have a separate video about that. Handshake has their own videos, which you can search for, or you can reach out to one of the career centers directly and we'd be happy to help you. Ultimately, all of these things lead to company recognition, even if you're not immediately getting job applications. I think uplifting your brand is a really huge part about the career fairs and the Handshake experience. The more time that you spend posting to Handshake, coming to the career fairs, and really engaging those students through one-on-one conversations, whether it's in person or through profile ads on Handshake, it's definitely going to lead to more applications and more student engagement over time. But it does not happen overnight, so please do keep at it. Handshake during the event. So we have added a new feature, or Handshake has added a new feature in that every single booth will have a QR code for students to scan. That is something that we provide to you at check-in. So at check-in, you will receive a QR code, or it might be at your booth already when you arrive to set up your booth. We encourage you to have students scan that QR code. The benefit to having them scan it is that they're going to receive a digest of all the companies that they have seen at the fair. So get those company profiles updated, get those jobs added, because when students are scanning all these QR codes at the fair, they're going to get a digest that says, hey, you scanned 12 QR codes with these 12 companies at the fair. Here are their profiles, here are their jobs. And having that easy digest sent right to their email definitely increases the likelihood of them going and clicking on your profile, reading through that profile, and applying to those open positions. So you definitely want to have that digital engagement as well. Why do you want students to scan the QR code? Well, you having the student scan the QR code, you will get a digest of all the student profiles for a very quick follow-up after the fair. So the more students you have scan the QR code, the more student profiles you'll receive after the fair. It'll be emailed directly to the person who registered for the fair. They'll get a list of all the students who you spoke with or who scanned the QR code, and then you can go ahead and follow up with them via email. You can follow up with everybody who scanned, or you can pick and choose based on the attractive profiles that you see. Again, like I said, you will automatically receive this digest sent to the person who registered for the fair. If you did not register for the fair and you want to look for this digest, again, about 1 or 2 days after the fair, what you'll do is on the left-hand sidebar, you will select fairs. You will select University of Alaska and click Include Past Fairs. You will find the fair that you attended where you had everybody scan. So whatever the most recent career fair that you attended where you want to get this information. Let's say it's the fall 2023 career fair. You'll go ahead and select that. And then you'll click Students. And that will show you the full list of all of the students who scanned the QR code. If you have any questions or concerns, or if this process seems confusing to you, please don't hesitate to follow up with us. That is what we're here for, and we're happy to help. A couple other little things to just sort of elevate your recruitment process. Please make sure that you arrive early to set up and stay until the end. We definitely have a large portion of students who are not able to attend the whole fair, so they're sneaking in at the very beginning for, as little as 30 minutes to an hour. And then we definitely have students that are doing the same on the tail end of things. So please do make sure that you arrive. You plan to arrive sort of 30 minutes early so you can get through parking and check in and set up, and stay until the very end of the fair. It's also very helpful for you to wear your name tag so that we don't feel awkward about who was I talking to again, and students can go ahead and jot that name down for a quick follow up. For the same reason, you might choose to bring business cards so students can quickly follow up with you and they can have that longer lasting connection. There are students who enjoy having a handout or information to take. I think it's a little bit of a 50-50 split between students who would prefer to scan a QR code and go to a website or go to a job posting directly versus having a handout. So if you're able to have both available, that can be very helpful. And then just make sure that your booth is set up and looking nice with your branding. So a company branded tablecloth, stickers, pens, anything that you might have to give away, just to help keep that brand top of mind and draw a student in. And then, of course, it's wonderful to do some follow up with students. Like I said, it's all these little things adding up, setting up your handshake profile, coming to the fair, following up with the students. It's all of these engagements that really bring it all the way to the level of a student going ahead and applying for the position. So this is everything I have about recruiting for the career fair and putting your best foot forward. As always, if you have any questions, you can contact any of the 3 career centers and we would be more than happy to help talk about ways to elevate your recruitments of our students and alumni. Please watch other videos in this series to learn more about tips and tricks for engaging our students. Thank you.